bring the associated documents.
Hello, TCI family, Jonathan's Refuge. Hello, Facebook world from my personal Facebook page. I'm streaming on both platforms from my personal and also for our church. So forgive me on my personal one. You guys are kind of going to be I'm not going to look at your screen, so don't take an offense. I need to do a message on the other one. But I want to not do this twice. I don't think I have the tears in me, so we're going to do this one shot and make it happen. Tonight is church at TCI, and we meet Thursday night in Marysville at our church. We have an amazing fellowship for an hour, and I bring a 15-minute positive message. And unfortunately, I wish I could bring you a positive message like I normally do, but I can't. Now, last week, you noticed there's not a message on the board on our channel, and that is simply because it was not able to be recorded due to what happened and some technical difficulties. So the church knows what's going on, and my closest family and friends do, but and there's a lot that I can't discuss. So if I seem vague on certain things, I apologize, but I need to keep certain things close to the chest. But a week ago, I felt my intuition say, check the county jail roster, and I did. And one of my sons is in the county jail. And it's one of my sons I've been looking for that I haven't seen in 8 years. And he's in there on murder charges. And this occurred when he was 17, but they played a dirty trick and didn't try to charge him until he's 18. He wasn't a person that pulled the gun or the trigger. He was just in the vehicle at the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people. I'm not justifying this. I'm telling you what happened. So I know everyone sees that young boy as a man. He's 18. He's a man. I remember when he was 10 years old when I last saw him. He had his black belt at 10. My son, I watched him take a full-grown man down to his knees outside, not in a dojo where they were being a physical, grown, 20-plus-year-old man, and he dropped him. This young man is kind of a mini-me, and I have to deal with that because of my personality in life, unfortunately. Our children, they follow us. So I found this out in the evening, and during that night, I had an additional stroke. I knew I was having one. I have these fancy computer. This is a couple $1,000s in technology that I have on my wrist and another monitor that I have. I've got some of the best technology. My wife's a home nurse. I mean, I've got the greatest staff helping keep me alive. And so we knew instantly I was had a massive headache. I've had 2 major strokes that left me permanently crippled before, so I know the signs. I've had 34 TIAs, which are called mini strokes, but this isn't a mini stroke. This was a small stroke. I went to the neurologist the next day, and then I lost my sight over here, so the stroke wasn't finished. I was really in the middle of it. I've gotten back a portion of my eyesight. Anything from back here over, I can't see, where over here, I can see my hand way back here, but I can't see this unless I, of course, look on the computer and I see it through the television monitors. But in real life, anything behind this finger there, I can't see any of that. The stress of your child going to prison catapulted me into a bad state. So now my life's up in a lot of turmoil. I'm running blood pressures of 184 over 111. They want me in the hospital. If you're going to make a phone call or an email, and do me a favor, save your email and save your phone call. I don't want to hear one of you tell me, you need to be in the hospital. That's the best place to be. I've lived in hospitals. You haven't. I have lived there for 9 months in a hospital. I've done approximately 3 years of my 48 years. That's how many days I've lived. 3 years of my life in hospitals. I know all that I need to know. And I understand the concept of them doing one test after another, but you're better to be in the hospital. Folks, I was in a hospital with COVID and I had a pulmonary embolism. And because of COVID and all the policies and procedures, I never even saw a doctor for almost a 2-day process. And I had a pulmonary embolism. I know the procedures. I don't need anyone doing this. I have staff and doctors on board with me, my own doctors, and they're working with us diligently. I have great staff. If you want to help, here's how you can help. Lower my stress in any way that you can if you're involved in my life. But I wish I could say that was it. I wish I could say there's no biggie, we're good, we're moving forward, but I can't. Now my entire life's in an upheaval. It's in an unknown. I had a surgery 4 months ago. They removed my gallbladder. I can't eat. I'm now down to just 2 chocolate shakes a day. I'm trying to up that to 3. I say chocolate shakes. They're protein shakes, Atkins protein shakes. They have, if you drink 4 of them a day, you get all your nutrients. I can't even drink 4 a day. I'm finally up to 2 as of yesterday, and I haven't puked it. So I'm getting some progress, and we're working diligently to get me in. And they've got scans, and I'm highly monitored, and I'm doing okay. But how do you deal with it? How do you deal with the loss of that, and what all that entails, and that stress then puts you into a place like physically. I had to make a decision. You guys all know I'm planning a trip. I've got expeditions lined out for the next 5 years that are being paid for today for the next 5 years. I'm going to Denali on May 25th. I'm supposed to leave. Myself and 2 other team members, and we're going to go up to Denali, Alaska, be flown in, land on a glacier on skis, drop us off, and leave us there for 3 weeks while we summit the tallest mountain in North America, Mount Denali. I get done with that. I'm supposed to get down to Mexico and walk from Mexico to Canada. The PCT, Pacific Crest Trail, 2,650 miles. I'm doing the PCT by myself. I could care less if I fall off the crevasse because I had a stroke, or fall off a ledge, or slip and fall and die. I'm not worried about that. When it's my time, it's my time. So I could care less. But I don't lead people into an expedition that I can't guarantee that I can be at 100% capacity to bring home the people on my team. And so I had to make the very hard decision today to cancel my trip to Denali. And I'm still doing the PCT because that's on me by myself. And the money raised from that trip is going to fund my place, my home, my namesake, Jonathan's Refuge. And the book and the video that we're doing right now, myself, a gentleman from our organization, Ty Shaw, is helping put this all together with me. He's taken on this project of doing the documentary of my life and book called You're Fat, Now What?, which is my story of how to survive all these health obstacles and get through them. And we're going to be getting out tidbits, and he'll be leaking things to you and little cool videos he'll shoot out and stuff, and you'll be seeing it coming. But I don't want to preach a sermon tonight. I want to share with you that inside of me, I am falling apart. I'm dying. There's no way to get around this. There's a lot of you don't know all the details of my life, and I'm not going to share them all. But I have a certain amount of time that certain people say that I'll have everything, and then there after a certain time it could, I don't listen to them. I don't. I plan for the worst, but I don't listen to them. I have all my faculties. I have my entire board of directors and all my companies behind me and with me, our church, our college of bishops, our pastoral staff throughout the world. We're doing fine. And I'm fine. But I'm not. Does that sound like an oxymoron? I'm fine, but I'm not. I'm not fine, but I'm fine. My son's in a prison for something he didn't do, but yet he did. I'm not fine. That's my child. I'm trying to hold on as I even say these, because inside I just want to break down and collapse. It's my baby boy. I held him in my hands. My ex-wife and I gave life to this child. And I quit a career to be there for that child. And I am heartbroken. I'm devastated. And then it's killing me. Physically, it's killing me. So the stress of my son is killing me. What do you do? Well, I want to tell you about my friend. His name is Jesus. I know what you're thinking. Oh, dude, hold on. I thought you were inclusive. I am inclusive. I know friends of mine that are watching this. Oh, you only can talk about Jesus. You can stop it. Jesus never talked about Jesus. He only talked about God. I follow Jesus. I talk about God. But why am I going to talk specifically about Jesus? Why do I want to tell you about my friend named Jesus? Jesus was a man who walked this earth 2,000 years ago, roughly. Close to 2,100. In between there, give or take. Jesus is God. God is the only thing that is keeping me alive. My sheer determination is God's power inside of me, manifesting my physical being, pushing through this. I'm running blood pressures that should kill me. I'm losing eyesight. Things are crashing and falling fast. And I've got a team of at least a half a dozen right now today that are working fast and hard to get me all the same tests that I would be doing if I was sitting in a hospital. So I'm really grateful for our team. But what do you do? I've got a crisis going on in my personal life. I've got a health crisis that just took a tank. I've got a company that is just teetering on greatness. And if I don't push it the right direction, it could just be another company making $1 million or so, where it's on the verge of being one of those $20-30 million a year companies. It's right there. I got all that weight and it's piles up and you're just sitting there and I got people that come out of prison and they get put in my life and there's a program and you got to follow it. And, you know, people think that they're going to be able to con their way out of life like they did when they went into prison. Well, those guys don't realize is when they get out, they're mentally like they were when they went in. They don't even realize it. You want to know how I know that? Because I got a guy right now. He's done many years in prison. He smoked prior to prison, got in prison and did not smoke. He has no addiction to smoking. What's the first thing you think he did when he got out? I'm going to go get a cigarette. He doesn't even have a job and he's spending money on tobacco. Think about that. I don't have a job and I'm going to get into a habit. I deal with people all the time. Stress. That's my life and I'm okay with that. But what do you do when it all jumps on you? Everything's falling and you feel like, I just want to die. There's been a couple nights this week where last night, I looked at my wife and I said, I love you, but I just want to stop. I just want to break. I know I was a bad guy. I understand that there's a price to pay and that the sins of the father to the sins of the fault of the son. I get all that. And this is my life that he's following. If anything, I plead with you, if you're a parent, just remember something. Your children follow you. They mimic you. Mimic the right things. Show the right things for them to mimic. Lead the right example so they can follow the right example. But what do I do in that moment when I have to choose? I'm on the verge of kicking the bucket. My blood pressures are popping. My eyesight's getting so much pressure in my skull. All these things. And you get fear. And fear's rushing in right now. Fear's flying. I've got my wife fearful. I'm fearful. Why? Because everyone around me is getting fearful. Doctors are fearful. Nurses are fearful. Everyone's panicking. And one of my closest friends looked at me and, Ryan, I love you. He looked at me and he said, hey, dude, you haven't walked with me. We haven't walked since the surgery. And he's right. And I couldn't. I'm puking my guts out. I go to the gym. I run to the bathroom. I puke. I can't keep food down. I can't keep pills down. My blood pressures are, it's just, where does it end? When do you get a break? And then just when you think you're done, right? That phone rings and someone knocks on the door and it's, hey, Bishop, I need you. My life's falling apart. And guess what? I can't say time out. Woe is me. What about my pain? I can't do that. I can't tap out. They need me. I have to deliver. So I bring them joy. I bring them hope. I bring them love. That's what I do. And it's stressful as hell sometimes because it hurts. You see, last week, the message was to the church. That's why it wasn't posted. Part of it was because it was really, I think God wanted just the members to see it. And it gave me a chance to get myself composed. This is so hard because in one sense, I'm this far from just the body falling apart and crashing and not being able to drive. You don't understand the pain it's like. I spent 9 months in a bed. I couldn't walk. I couldn't talk. I couldn't eat. I couldn't do anything. I was fed through tubes. I was on a machine. People had to clean me, physically wipe my butt. Do you know what that's like for a grown adult in their 30s, late 30s, going into their early 40s? Both of those happen. So I've got all this baggage back here reminding me this is the next step. This is the next thing. This is just the precursor. It's the rumblings to St. Helens. It's about to explode. That's called fear. And let me tell you what fear is. It's a word that's spelled F-E-A-R. And it stands for face everything and rise. So last night, I faced that fear. I looked at it. When I say the Grim Reaper's knocking, the Grim Reaper is not knocking. The Grim Reaper is in the door, hanging out next to the bed going, hey, I'm coming for you. But it reminded me of a story that I need to remind myself of. And so maybe this will help you when you go through it. But I remember when I had a stroke. It was the first one. And my youngest son, the one that's in prison, he was holding my arm on this side. And he was just petting it like this, just rubbing it. And I couldn't speak. I was yelling, but nothing came out. I heard the doctor telling my ex that, we're going to probably not going to make it, say goodbyes, get all the kids and all that stuff. And I'm screaming, I'm in here. I'm alive. And my son, he said, let's go, old man. When he said, let's go, old man, I flipped his finger. Hey, doc, he's in there. He moved. The doctor said, son, you're just hearing us talk about these tough decisions that have to be made. And it's wishful thinking. I'll never forget what that 6-year-old said. He looked right up at that doctor and said, listen to me, you son of a bitch. He's alive. I know this is going to the church, and that's why our programming says not meant for children. Okay. But he was right. And so he looked at that doctor and said, look at my father's hand. And he said, let's go, old man. And I moved it. And every time anyone said, let's go, old man, I could move it for that. It's the only thing that got me. And then after that, it was 1 finger, 2, 3, 4. I had to learn how to move my hand. I could move it. Kept going. Kept turning. Next thing you know, I had to learn how to breathe. I had to learn how to eat. I didn't understand how to eat. I couldn't pick up the food and actually go like this. How? When you have the memory of doing it, I know I can eat, but I can't. My brain has something severed. He said, let's go, old man. Well, that's what's tattooed on this arm. If you ever really delve into that tattoo, it's a skull and it's got the saying. It says, let's go, old man. I went in for a surgery of cancer not too many years back, just a couple of years ago. They removed, they had 13 to be exact, a baker's dozen of tumors in my colon. They went in to do that. Half of them mysteriously disappeared, and the other half were gone. They took care of them. It's all clean and cleared out. But on the table, I died. It was only for 54 seconds. It was my third time, but I died. The nurse in there who knows me and is a friend, she was adamant when the machines, and they were about to say, she says, let's go, old man. She remembered. And funny enough, that ink was fresh. And she remembered that. And she said it. And within 10 seconds of her saying it, this old man was back. See, fear can put you in a place where you can't even move. You're paralyzed. My dearest friend just lost his mother. We were there with him. It can paralyze you, or it can mobilize you. If it paralyzes you, then you've given into fear. But if you see yourself being proactive and trying to find ways to cope, try to find ways to go speak to people, talk about your stress, let it out. I got all those. I've got an amazing college of bishops, and I own a mental health facility. I've got therapists, doctors. I've got a lot of wonderful people. Most importantly, I have probably the most amazing wife in the world, who will hold me when I'm shaking and crying on the floor because I'm losing physical things, and I'm seeing my body shutting down, and I'm fighting it to say, no, we're not dying. No, we're not having this stroke today. Not going to happen. When I was told I wouldn't live past September 9th, what did I do? Cameron, you were there. He's at the church right now watching this. What did we do? Brian was there. My wife was there. In the spring, they said I'd be dead by September 9th. They told me to make all my peace with everybody. Don't go out and do any exercise. Do not. If you go out and exercise, you'll blow your valve. What did I do? I went out every weekend and climbed mountains. I said, well, if we're going out swinging. I want to go to Everest. And my buddy Brian got me to go to St. Helens. 3 days after my death date, I summited Mount St. Helens. And I have not stopped since then. Every time my body hits that wall where I start to think it's falling apart, and the doctors then confirm it's falling apart, I get out there and I go. So I went for 3 miles yesterday, and it was the hardest thing I ever did. I could barely walk. I'm sleeping half the day. My body's just been through hell, and I'm not going to give up. The moxie, the tenacity, because people need help, and I love helping, and I enjoy what I do. I take a man to the mountains and I show him who to find the man inside of him. I help him find that. And I do it through the way I enjoy it. Outdoors. It's my ministry. It's my life. It's what I love. And I'm passionate about it. And I don't want to stop. So I'm not quitting. I'm not dying. And I'm surely not taking time off. I don't need it. This is the life my wife and me signed up for. And it's not easy. My dearest friend, he said to me yesterday, gosh, I pray they can get this fixed. It's not even my body, and I'm exhausted. It's not easy. It's exhausting. I want to curl up on the couch, right? And I want to cry. And I want to see my baby. And I want to make his problems go away. And I can't. And then I have all the world else having to be dealt with. And I can't stop the world. It still turns. If I die today, this world doesn't stop. It keeps turning. Everyone keeps moving. And there's no stopping it. And that sometimes is daunting. And that's why I wanted to introduce you to my friend, Jesus. God, right? God. What is God? God is love. God is in you. God is you. You are one with God. And then you are love. And that's all I want you to hear from this message. Fear, face everything and rise. Meet my friend God, the great architect of the universe, my friend Jesus. My friend God will never leave you nor abandon you. In that moment last night when terror was streaking across, couldn't sleep all night, have no sleep, blood pressure's spiking still, I talk to my God. I tell him how much I'm grateful for the 48 years I was supposed to not make 20. I wasn't supposed to leave prison at 17, okay? 15 to 17, I wasn't supposed to walk out of there. I shouldn't be alive. So I have lived 10,000 lives. But how do you deal with it? That's the question. I deal with it by just letting it go to God first. That helps lower your stress. You can't fix everything. I can't fix everything. I have to give it to my higher power. I have to allow God to take it from me. Doesn't mean I can't keep being diligent on my son's case, helping finances, getting people to take care of them inside of there. I've got so many things working to help take care of my son, and I'm doing all of those things faithfully and diligently. I have companies and I have employees. I have dozens of families that depend on me for their livelihood. I refuse to stop. I will not allow that fear. It comes around. And when it comes around, that reaper, when the reaper comes, I just remind it. You got two options with me. 6 months in the hospital in intensive care or sudden death. What do you want? I know you think that's funny, but I'm dead serious. I don't let fear sit inside me. You can't let fear sit inside you. I have white matter lesions in my brain from concussions, from all the fighting and boxing and all that in my day. If I sat there and listened to what they say, oh my God, I might as well just put a bullet to my head and pull the trigger. It's horrifying. I I don't care what they say. I'll be the guy that's 125, still talking like this right here, helping change people's lives because I give it all to my God, and my God gives back to me. You see, I feel love in my heart right now. I feel joy in my heart right now, even though I feel sorrow. It's an oxymoron. I'm sad and I'm happy, all in the same moment. I'm devastated, yet I feel excited about our future. I feel heartbroken, yet I feel loved. Why? Because of God. So whatever you're going through, just give it up to God. You don't need to go to a church. You don't even need to come to my church. You don't need to go anywhere. Just put your hands up, look up in your room quietly and say, God, I give it to you. I can't do it on my own. Give it to your higher power. Let that burden be lifted. I love you guys. I'm sorry I went a few minutes past our normal time. I hope you understand that no matter, because people see me all the time and they're like, yeah, but you don't have problems and you don't have this and you don't struggle. Oh, you have no clue the struggle I go through or how hard it is. For I to take a step on a mountain and go walk for a few feet can be deadly, yet I push through. So I wanted you to hear from me. I've always been that authentic person, preaching from my heart, always speaking about what usually I'm either struggling with or something that I've mastered. And I don't usually master things. So I like to say things that I'm good at, not mastered, because I don't want to ever feel like I've mastered anything. I always want to keep myself on my toes to feel like I can always learn more, become better, and always strive to be a green thumb, green ears, right? Green horn. I don't know everything. I need to keep learning. Got to keep learning, keep striving. I love you guys. Keep striving for God. He's there. She's there. They're listening. The deity is listening to you right now. As we talk, I can feel God saying, I love you. And he's saying it through me because I love you guys so much. I love my entire church. I love my congregation. I love the men in my life, the women in my life, all the kids and family members, the whole organ. I love them all. Board members, the bishops. I love my life. And I'm here for them, for you. I love you guys. I hope this light shines in your light a little brighter. So no matter what you're going through, you can pause and say, it's okay. It's okay. We got this. We're going to face everything and rise together. I love you guys. Church, Thursday nights, 6 to 7:15. House fellowship. We do food from 6 to 7 and hang out and love each other. The same way my friend Jesus did with his disciples. They hung out on the hills and they broke bread and fish and they listened to him speak for only 10 or 15 minutes. And that's what we do. So if you have nothing to do on Thursday nights, you want some good food and great fellowship and to hear a positive message in life, no matter what on earth the hell is coming down on you at that moment, come over here. Get a hug from one of us. We'll let you know that we love you. God bless you all. We'll see you next time. Thank you guys on my personal Facebook page for putting up with this long post. I